Chester just got a hypercharge, and it has made him absolutely broken. You can team wipe so easily if you're a good Chester player. And if you watch this video, you will be a good Chester player. At power 11, Chester has 7,000 health, a fast movement speed, and a normal reload speed. Chester's attack is called Cap and Bells, and it shoots a sequence of bells going from 1 to 4 and then restarting, with each bell dealing 1,280 damage at a long range. The more bells that are in his attack, the more the attack spreads out. Now Chester charges his super in 4 attacks, starting at his single bell. But if he's starting at his 3rd bell, he's able to charge his super in only 2 attacks. Now Chester's super is very unique in that every time he charges one, he will receive a random super out of 5, each doing different broken things. I will go over every one of these supers and how to use them later in the video, so stick around. But now we'll talk about his broken hypercharge. Chester's hypercharge is called Crunchy, Chewy, Gooey. It gives him a 24% speed buff, a 15% damage buff, and a 15% shield buff. His hypercharge super combines 3 of his supers into one diabolical purple button. We'll talk about how good it is later in the video. Now Chester's first gadget is called Spicy Dice. Its cooldown time is 12 seconds and simply gives him a random new super, as long as he already has one charged. Now you want to activate this gadget when you get a super that is not particularly good on that map or game mode. His second gadget is called Candy Beans and gives him a random buff for 5 seconds that includes damage, reload speed, healing, and speed. Activate this gadget when pushing up the map, and its cooldown time is only 15 seconds. So you want to try to spam it as often as possible, because after the 5-second buff, only 10 seconds later and then you can just press it again. Now Chester's first star power is called Single Bellomania, and it gives his first bell attack a 150% damage buff at all times. This can be very useful with good aim and when bursting down high health tanks. Now Chester's second star power is called Sneak Peek, and simply gives Chester the ability to always know what his next super will be. With this knowledge, you can be prepared to use whichever super you know is coming almost immediately. Now the build I recommend you use with him is the Spicy Dice gadget and the Single Bellomania star power. I picked the Spicy Dice gadget because some supers are always better than others, and the worst ones can be very underwhelming. So this can ensure you get a good super every time, especially with the gadget change. Now I picked the Single Bellomania star power because damage is always so good, and the other star power is honestly total dog water. I mean, who even needs to know what their super is before? They'll see it when they charge it up. Now for the gears, I definitely recommend damage gear because it is just so good on tanks, and speed or vision gear is also good for those bushier maps because he is just so deadly when he's able to sneak up next to you and see you in those bushes to charge up one of his 5 disgusting supers. Speaking of which, his first super is called Candy Popper, and it throws an exploding candy popper at a normal range that breaks walls, knocks back enemies, and deals 3,760 damage. Use this super to quickly burst down your enemies, as it essentially stuns them, allows for an easy kill, and then continues to almost fully charge up your next super. It is also a very good goal scoring super for Brawl Ball because of the wall break and the knockback. So try to break the walls and then shoot the ball for an easy point. His second super is called Jawbreaker, and it shoots a stunning candy at a long range for 400 damage. The crazy thing about this super is that it stuns your target for an insane 2 seconds. Once you hit a target with this, you can just walk up to them and blow them to the afterlife. Not to mention, this will almost certainly charge up your next super. His third super is called Salmiakki, and sprays a cone of Salmiakki at a wider normal range that deals an insane 4,640 damage over 7 ticks. Use this high amount of ticks to help you when dealing with all sorts of brawlers, because without being able to heal for 7 seconds, they will have to fall back and then you can gain pivotal map advantage. Now you always want to try to hit 2 people with this super, as the result is just insane, and it can almost act like 2 supers in one. His fourth, and probably his worst super, is called Pop Rocks, and it simply spawns crackling Pop Rocks in a circle around Chester, which slow enemies and deal 320 damage for 10 ticks. The main place you want to use this super is in hot zone, because 10 seconds of that zone time can be very pivotal when in a close match. Another scenario is when there is another brawler behind a wall, and the slow can allow you to catch up to them and easily finish them off. The fifth super is called Strong Mint, and it heals Chester for a total of 4,800 health. It heals him in 3 ticks with 1,600 health a tick. This super takes a second to start healing you, so you may want to use it when you're entering the battle, because as you take the damage, you will also heal. Another good time to use it is when you are low but need to keep your map positioning while the enemy is approaching you. Popping this super can save your life in so many ways. Now Chester's best game modes are Brawl Ball and Hot Zone, as his supers are super good for map control, goal scoring, and beating down those tanks, who are played very often in these game modes. Now he is okay in Gem Grab and Showdown, but is not used to his greatest potential. In Knockout and Bounty he can be okay, but he may not cycle through enough supers to win the game. Now Height is not very good for him because he is not a support, and although having damage, he has only a normal reload speed. Now for the tips and tricks. At the beginning of the match, you always want to waste 2 attacks immediately. That way if your opponents are aggressive, you can easily burst them down with the 3-bell, 4-bell, and the buffed 1-bell attacks. Now you always want to waste them immediately because you want to begin reloading his ammo very fast, seeing it is so precious and he only has a normal reload speed. Now as you approach the center of the map, find a tank and feed off of them. This will help charge up your hypercharge, where you can just team wipe and dominate the match. Now although he's a tank counter, be careful when getting close to those tanks because those tanks can still destroy 7,000 health in a second or two. Keep your distance and break their walls, unless you know you can win a close range 1v1. Now an advanced tip is on more open maps, try to shoot your 3 and 4 bell attacks, not straight on but a little off centered, in these parts right here. Then you can hit 2 bells in the attack and get double super and double damage. I have already given you tips on his supers, but you need to take this last tip and just apply it to all these tips, as it will furnish off your playstyle as a Chester player. It will make you so much better, and don't forget to subscribe for more guides. But here's the tip. Chester is centered around RNG, so utilize that. Keep your opponents guessing, but never let them know what you're going to do. Make it random for them, but skilled for you. You can even flash your super at times to make them think you have a goated super when you really just have pop rocks. Even yeet your super across the map to surprise the other lane, and make sure to focus those tanks. But that's really all for this guide. Now thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.